Welcome to Watching the Throne.
A lyrical analysis of Kanye West.
My name is Chris Lambert.
My name is Travis Bean, and this is day 7 of the Jesus is King Advent Calendar.
What do we have going on today, Travis?
Let's see. Let me open up the door here. I think this is one of those like Chinese candies. You know, those like weird tasty ones that are always like something random.
No.
Oh, well. Do you really not?
No, yeah, I have no idea.
Oh, you ever been to an Asian market where they always have like crazy candies?
No.
Oh man, you got to get on it.
Yeah.
This one's shaped like a panda, and let's see what it is. Oh, this is interesting. It is guest features on Kanye West songs. We're going to be counting down our favorites.
Yes, which is a contested field as Kanye has so many albums with so many guest features.
Yeah, and I fully expect people to rail on us after we reveal our lists.
Yeah, it's a weird... I know mine's weird.
Undoubtedly.
Yeah, because I feel like some of it, too, maybe we're avoiding picking some of the obvious ones.
Yeah, I tried to keep my list as unique as I could. Like, it's hard to deny all of the really great Kanye features, like Nicki on Monster and Rick Ross on Devil in a New Dress and Chance on Ultra Light Beam. Like, of course, those are all amazing. I tried to play with mine, maybe pick some underrated ones, some ones I'm nostalgic for. There's so many different ones to choose from, and we're gonna just do our best to highlight some of the best ones.
So for honorable mentions, I just, Rick Ross is in there for Devil in a New Dress. Like, arguably one of the best, not in my top 5 that we're doing here today. Also, honorable mention to the choir in Ultra Light Beam. I always love the work that they do. And then also to the arresting vocals of Justin Vernon in Lost in the World.
Yeah, that was on mine. I guess an honorable mention would be Justin Vernon on both Hold My Liquor and I'm In It and New Slaves. He has a little runner through those three songs.
I'm now picturing Justin Vernon in a thong.
Yeah, you're welcome, everybody.
Yeah. Who else do you have for your honorable mentions?
Mostly those guys, like I said, like Nicki, Rick Ross, Chance. Like, those are all incredible. There are so many good features. Pusha on Runaway. Pusha on So Appalled. There's Jay on Diamonds of Sierra Leone and Never Let Me Down. I mean, the list goes on and on.
Yeah, I also want to give a shout out, honorable mention to Kanye on So Appalled, because it sounds nothing like Kanye. And for like 3 years, I didn't think it was Kanye delivering that verse.
It was the first time in hip hop history where someone was guest featured on their own song.
Amazing, right?
The guy is a visionary.
That's just the kind of thing that Kanye West brings to the table.
You never know what you're going to get from him.
Yeah, so shout out guest feature Kanye on So Appalled.
Wow, yeah, that was a good one.
Thank
but
you.
we do have a top 5. And Chris, you want to get into your number 5?
Yeah, which, sticking with So Appalled, is actually Jay-Z's verse on So Appalled.
Really? Okay. Oh, you know what? I think I was getting it mixed up with Monster. I was like, don't people usually rail on that? I think people usually rail on the Monster one.
People definitely attack the
Unfairly.
Monster one with a lot of fury, a lot of fire, as much vitriol and poison as some can muster, Jordan.
Yeah, that Jordan vitriol.
Yeah. But the So Appalled one, I always loved Jay's verse on there. It was one of the times where, like, early we had our misunderstandings with Jay's braggadocio and how it fit in with what Kanye was doing. And that was always kind of a criticism that I had with Jay, is just I always felt like it was braggadocio nonstop over and over again. But with So Appalled and how maximal So Appalled was, the point was that degree of braggadocio. And in that setting, I was like, this is me in 2010 just being like, this is perfect Jay-Z, like not having listening to early
Right.
albums of Jay at that point, like just radio stuff, but hearing him here and seeing some of the lines that he delivers, and the verse is just always stuck with me.
Yeah, love it. Love Jay and those are on. Yeah, you're right. Like we always used to hate on Jay so much, and now like every time I hear Jay on a Kanye song, I'm like, fuck yeah, this guy gets it. Everyone was way ahead of us on that one.
Yeah, sorry everybody. Thanks for your patience.
Number 5 for Travie Baby. I'm gonna go with an interesting one. Again, I think Jay-Z is an amazing "I'll Never Let Me Down," but I'm picking Jay Ivy just because of what he embodies and how basically he's channeling God through himself. And I think more than anything, what he represents on that song in particular, going from just the trajectory, my fucking God, the trajectory of the verses from Kanye, who's trying to attain this like next level, to Jay, who is like kind of the pinnacle of like hip hop, like where you want to go and what you can achieve, to Jay Ivy, who kind of represents like something ethereal and divine and like something that transcends music and the more spiritual place you can get to with being a celebrity. And I know a lot of people will say like there's no way that's what was being planned when that song was being put together, but everything we've seen from Kanye indicates like somebody who very much constructs his songs that way, and probably did have conversations with them about what the song represents, and just the way it came out and the way the production plays into the journey of the song. It all fits together so well, and because of that, Jay Ivy's part blows up to this like, epic level.
It's really powerful coming out of Jesus Walks, which looks at like, I know like God's going to be with me. Like, I hope he walks with me. Like, you know, it's been a long time since we talked. So like, I'm fearful, but like I have faith. And to go from that to Jay Ivy and just this declaration that I'm like heaven sent instruments. And every time like I rap, a little bit of God rains out. Like, that's amazing.
Good shit.
Jay Ivy,
right.
the poet.
We got to get him on the show.
Yes, that'd be great.
I bet he's aching to. All right, number 4.
I love the idea of people aching to be on the show.
Oh, let me on.
Just please. Number 4, which is funny, but I'm serious.
Well, we'll see if I laugh.
Jay-Z on Monster. Like,
No, I'm actually laughing.
in all seriousness, though, I remember listening to My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy for the first time, and I loved this verse. Like, it was startlingly violent in where Jay went with it. He talks about like killing the block, murder the avenue, rape and pillage your village, women and children, like some supervillain shit. Like, I love the fact that Jay went so big with it, and Nicki did as well. But like, I don't know. I just thought it was really cool, especially with like how kind of realistic Kanye was in his verse. And I remember still being so surprised when Jay was as like fantastic and violent as he was. And I always loved, all I get is these vampires and bloodsuckers. All I see is these guys that made millionaires milling about, spilling their feelings in the air. Just that deconstruction of millionaires to milling about, spilling their feelings in the air. Like, he pulled apart the sounds of that word and arranged a line built out of those sounds to recreate the word millionaire through the lines milling about, spilling their feelings in the air. Like, I always loved when poets would do that, and it was one of the things that I think M used to do so well, and still tries to do, but does so much clunkier to me than what he used to, But I always really appreciated Jay breaking that out, and like how he continues with the vampire and bloodsucker metaphor into fake fucks with no fangs trying to draw blood from my ice cold veins. Like, and then the massacre line gets me every single time. I always sniff every time I hear the song. Like, I smell along with him. And I'm a Godzilla fan, so the listing of the monsters at the beginning, I'm down with. It's absurd and ridiculous, but I'm down with it.
It's great because whenever I need a word to substitute monster, I don't need to go to thesaurus. I could just go to the lyrics for monster.
You're just like, I can pick one of these. Sasquatch, not fitting. Ghoul. Ghoul works.
Yeah. Ooh, zombie. Ooh, strong contenders.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, this is a great fucking verse. I encourage anybody to go listen to our episode on that where Chris and I defend Jay-Z and Jordan and his wife just tear him apart.
It's a bloodbath.
It is. All right, number 4 for me. Yeah, I'll pick a fun one too. This one is, this has some lore on Watching the Throne because every year we cover Christmas in Harlem. And every year we note somebody who has a very special verse on the song. And I'm picking Sci-Hi the Prince in particular because he has a verse both on the longer Christmas in Harlem that's like 8-9 minutes long and the short one, kind of like the single edit. And both of the verses are batshit bananas crazy. Like in the shorter version, he's talking about being 800 miles away from home and how he's telling his mom and dad he won't be home for the holidays because I'm with Ye at the Macy Day Parade, letting the snow fall on my aviator shades. Which is just like, damn, dude. It's just so funny to me. He just like offhandedly lets his parents know, like, no, I'm heading off Kanye. Like, I know I said I'd be there, but no. And then, of course, the longer song, he has some really great lines. Like, I swear I got the freshest wardrobe. I let my beard grow because it's cold in the North Pole. Her voice slow because I always got a sore throat. I mean, come on, you can't deny it.
I always loved the line because the Macy Days Parade is like typically associated with Thanksgiving. So just the fact that like in this Christmas song, Sci-Hi is telling his family like, I won't be there for Christmas because I'm like hanging with Kanye on Thanksgiving. It just feels almost like he's been taken prisoner and he's just like, nope, never coming home. Like, sorry, y'all. It's like, you have a month. Like, can't you make it back here and like over the next month? He's like busy at the Macy's Day Parade.
Hey, if I was with Kanye, like, I'd give myself a month buffer too.
Yeah, right. Like, I don't know what's going to be necessary here, so
I may never see you again.
yeah. Sorry, fam.
Okay, number 3.
Number 3, I have Runaway. Even though it was, thrown into all of these are from My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy so far.
I thought you were gonna choose nothing but Jay-Z verses.
No.
Which I was ready for.
No, I'm being serious.
Okay,
and
I believe you.
Pusha T's Runaway guest feature, much like with the other two Jay-Z features, like it hit me the first time I heard it. And to this day, I always get so excited whenever it comes on. And I love the lore of the verse as well. In that Pusha T talked about how he initially wrote a version of it and gave it to Kanye. And Kanye was like, no, douchier. And Pusha went back and like wrote something else. It was like, boom, nailed it. That was easy. Brought it back to Kanye and Kanye's like, no, douchier. And it kept repeating. And Pusha then just took like, I think he said like he just had to sit there and kind of had like an existential crisis because he had just mistreated this girl he was in a relationship with, and the song actually hit way too close to home, and he was avoiding going to the place that he had to go, where he was the bad guy. He kept trying to make excuses in the verse because he was making excuses for himself. And he finally reached that point where he was like, I have to embrace what it is I did in order to reach the point where he could write it in the douchiest mode possible that Kanye wanted. And it's just so, I love everything that he does in this verse. From the 24/7 365, like it seems like such a good encapsulation of the mindset of Kanye and like a contrast to Kanye, where like Kanye, even though he's saying like he's a douchebag through it, like there's almost a likability to him still, like because he's this like sad hurt guy that maybe just misunderstood. He means well, you know, but that's a manipulation that's so present on the song and what Kanye's supposed to be doing. Like he's an asshole and then he wins this girl back over, whether it's through like the sad woe is me like musings that he sends her way or money. And so to have Pusha T come in there and just embody like the full blown douchebag that we're toasting, and having that line like plenty of hoes in a Matrix invisibly set, the Rolex is faceless, I'm just young, rich, and tasteless. There was always something cool to me about the idea that the Rolex is representative of him and kind of this faceless douchebaggery, or these like faceless assholes that just like, they're generic and they're just generic jerks that are defined by the generic things that they own.
Yeah, and going beyond like the actual lyrics and the level he had to sing to, his performance is incredible. Like he really embodies like this kind of douche. This guy was kind of lost in his ways and unaware of like how shitty he is. And as I mentioned in the show before, I will brag about this to the day I die. I saw Pusha T perform this live, and he carries that energy. It's infectious and it's just great.
Awesome.
Number 3 for Travis is a nostalgic one. I would say this and New Workout Plan were the two songs that got me into Kanye. So New Workout Plan and Slow Jams. So I'm picking Twista for my number 3, who to this day I still try to pretend that I can rap his part and I can't. But I try my best each time, and I mean, the shit's just great. I'm in the Shy and I be sipping Hennessy, play some R&B while I smoke a B, and you can preferably find that I'm a G. Like, him just saying all of those words so fast, and how it plays into like the slow, laid-back beat of the song, how it feels R&B. Like, man, it's just so infectious and great, and he takes that song to like a whole different level, and I love it.
The counterpoint to Kanye in that song is really good.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Kanye, especially in this part of the album where Kanye's like trying to make music that apes popular music and like trying to play to certain crowds, Twista embodies that and takes that song to that level. All right, number 2.
Number 2 is from Watch the Throne, of all albums. Not a lot of features on there, but I think one of the highlights of the album for me is Frank Ocean on No Church in the Wild. And that was my introduction to Frank. And just that verse, human beings in a mob, what's a mob to a king? What's a king to a god? What's a god to a non-believer who don't believe in anything? The escalation and philosophy there was always so cool to me, and it wasn't anything I'd ever really conceived of. Though thinking back on it, it almost feels like a really high college kid, like being like, what's a god to a non-believer, you know? What is that? And you're like, whoa. But I never heard it before. And I still think that sense of like scope and scale that he brings into that verse, along with the song title, No Church in the Wild, like it's such a great introduction to Watch the Throne. And he delivers it with such like beauty and grace, and really makes it this majestic thing, to the point where like he has 4 lines in the album, and yet he stands out majorly.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. I love it.
I guess he has more than 4 lines because of Made in America, but
Yeah, I was going to say he's a Made in America too. But I would agree he's better on Nutrition in the Wild.
yes.
And Frank, early in his early days before he blew up, Kanye, he was on it, man.
He knew.
He knew. He foresaw. Okay, for my number 2, I have something controversial to say, and I don't know if this is allowed. So we're going to have to talk about this, but I have a tie.
What?
I know, this is crazy. Guys, it's only day 7 and shit's getting this crazy, but I have a tie and I don't know what to do about it.
I like how it's a tie for 2 and not a tie for 1. Like,
Yeah, no, it's a tie for number 2. I know this is I told you it'd be crazy. But I just couldn't decide between GLC on Drive Slow and GLC on Spaceship. I couldn't do it.
Ooh, that's pretty good.
Just because what he represents on both of those songs, like on Spaceship, he's somebody who's kind of down in the dumps, like somebody who's working to rise out of situation. And then on Drive Slow, he's like, he's kind of an ideal situation. He's somebody who's made it out, somebody who's kind of mastered the industry and knows how to carry himself as a superstar. And it's not like he sounds different, like he changes like the tone of his voice or anything. He's just GLC. He's got that deep ass voice, but he somehow embodies both of those personas. And I just think that must have been huge for Kanye back then, who looked up to GLC, who was out of Chicago and needed somebody to like play those parts in the early days when he's still working out like storylines and motifs on his albums. Like GLC was there, and both of those verses are just so fucking dynamite and great, and I don't know, I love it.
Yeah, that's very well said. I sometimes forget that they're the same guy as well, because the one GLC's like, gosh darn it, like, can't I get up out of here? And then the other, he's like the big boss man. Like,
Right.
And just his range and ability to be able to embody both of those attitudes and make them both feel important and believable is really good.
Yeah. He's the man. I'm going to run into him in Chicago one of these days.
He would be like, GLC. And he'll be like, it's pronounced Gilk.
I'm going to be sitting behind him at some frozen yogurt line and just be like, hey, aren't you GLC? And he's like, yeah, man. And then we're going to connect.
You try to buy his frozen yogurt, and he's like, I buy my own frozen yogurt, thank you.
Actually, I would never see him at a frozen yogurt place because he's vegan, unless there's vegan frozen yogurt.
Oh, you mean the V Froyo? Definitely has to be V Froyo.
Verfroyo.
We just open a vegan Froyo store in Chicago just to be like, where's GLC?
Just to meet GLC.
Is he here yet?
He's just like, you guys could have emailed me. It would have been fine.
Like, well,
like, no, we needed to invest thousands of dollars in this startup.
Yeah, we're a post technology like podcast, so
this is how we do it.
Yeah.
All right, number 1. What's it gonna be, Chris? Is it controversial?
What's your guess for what it is?
Thinking about your honorable mentions, you didn't mention Jay-Z and Diamonds or Never Let Me Down.
It's
Is
not
it a
Jay-Z.
tie?
It's not
Okay.
Jay-Z.
You mentioned Rick Ross. You didn't mention Kendrick. You didn't mention Shake from Ghost Town. I think I would guess Shake.
Yeah, I didn't mention Shake as an honorable mention because I wasn't sure if you might use Shake as a number 1, but I was going to make sure we gave her an honorable mention for Ghost Town and Violent Crimes because I love her verse on Violent Crimes. Like how she says reality dripping off or colors dripping off. Like,
Uh,
so good. But no,
yeah, I
neither
didn't
of
pick her
those.
because I thought she'd be your number one.
Oh, well, sorry to disappoint, Travis. My number
Oh, well,
one,
sorry to shake.
my number one's actually a pair. A little controversial, but
Okay.
it's a conversation, not even a feature. It's The Best Birthday, Chris Rock and Salma Kenes.
Oh, you mean at the end of Blame Game?
Yeah, the end of Blame Game.
You know what I'm really blown away by? Not to derail your discussion, but I really thought you were going to pick Mos Def and what's his face on Two Words? Freeway.
Yeah, I thought about Mos Def and Freeway on there, and I like what they do a lot, but it's never really hit me as hard as like either of their solo work.
Sure.
Like I like Mos on Black Star more than I like him on Two Words, and I like Freeway on some of his solo stuff more than I like him on Two Words. So
Oh, yeah. And no Talib.
yeah, same
Wow.
like
Thought that was a guarantee.
nah.
All right.
No, it's Chris Rock on Blame Game.
People are so mad right now.
It's just always been amazing to me. Like, so 4 out of my 5 is that, or 3 out of the 5 are no 4 out of the 5
4.
are My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. I just never expected that to be at the end of a song. And
Yeah.
didn't expect for it to go on for as long as it did. And I love postmodern concepts and ideas, especially when they're brought into mainstream. And utilizing Chris Rock in that way and this conversation to highlight like him listening in on a phone call on Blame Game is just such a avant-garde and strange choice to make. And it works so well. I love it so much. And Chris Rock's like delivery all the way through is hilarious to me. Yeezy Taught Me is iconic. Like, yeah.
It's great because like it is funny. It's a mix of funny and like really cruel. So the more disgusting he's being and the more like jerky he's being to Kanye, like knowing like the deeper and deeper he goes down being kind of gross is hurting Kanye, who's listening in on the message more and more. Like Chris Rock was aware of that and like knew he had to be that way. So like for him to make it funny and be that much of a jerk is pretty impressive.
Yeah, like it's crazy that he's like having like he's sleeping with Kanye's like Kanye in quotes ex here, and he just has that, you know, I gotta thank Yeezy. And when I see him, I'ma thank him, I'ma buy the album, I'ma download that motherfucker, I'ma shoot a bootlegger. Like I'ma shoot a bootlegger amuses me nonstop every time I think about it. Like, but
Yeah.
that is so like cruel, right? Like he is benefiting off of Kanye and he's just like, you know, I'm going to support him by like buying his music. And just that discrepancy between the loss of the romance and the thank you being like business related, musical related, fame related, just gets at the tension of the album in such a cool way between like, what do I have that's meaningful and how is fame going to destroy me?
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah. So not your typical feature, but to me, it's the coolest.
Yeah, but you know, that's what Chris and I do. We're controversial.
That's right. We're the Kanye of the podcast. Oh my God. Can't even say it
Kanye-versal.
without-
Anyway.
Kanye-versal.
I'm sorry about that. So my number one, Chris, I have something else to admit. This is going to be controversial too. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to do this, but, and I know I had a tie in the number 2 slot, but I've got a tie on my number 1 slot.
God. Look at you, you indecisive bitch.
I can't help it. I don't know what to do. And, you know, I could have picked all five, I could have picked five different people from this song for my top five period, but I thought it was only fair to give everybody who's featured in this song an award, because I think everybody in All of the Lights takes that song to a different level.
That's an interesting choice.
You got Rihanna, you got Ellie Jackson. That's just the beginning. You got Kid Cudi, you got Fergie, you got Drake, and then just when you think it's done, you get Alicia Keys and Elton John in the outro. You fucking kidding me? I mean, I don't even know if I have to like say anything else.
I'm really curious. I don't know anything about the recording of all of them. Did he record each of them separately and then paste them all together at the same speed and just like overlap them? Or
that's a good question.
Did he have them all there like a chorus and they all sang All of the Lights together?
I think he just copy and pasted everything. I think that's more of this award's really more for Kanye than it is like any of the people, because like that's why I love it. He took all these people with very different styles from all these different genres and coalesced them into something like that's its own thing. Like, I don't know how you even classify All of the Lights. It's this epic blown up song that takes you, through the stratosphere, and then like it's otherworldly, and like for him to bring all of these people together and make, to me, is what is probably a top 10 Kanye song. I mean, it's just incredible.
What's amazing is the beauty in the collection of their voices during the refrain and everything they're singing contrasts so heavily with like the grungy and grimeness of like what Kanye's describing.
Yeah,
like
right.
Hitting his girlfriend, going to jail, like coming out and like struggling with money, struggling to have a connection with his daughter, like his daughter growing up into Fergie, but a tragic Fergie that's like just doing what she needs to survive because she's like grew up in a ghetto university. Like, it's such tragedy, but yet you have all these artists coming together for this like beautiful, like astounding chorus.
Yeah. In particular, I love Fergie's part. Unemployment line, credit card decline. Like, it's another one of those moments where Kanye takes somebody who has so much potential and like shows like that, those crazy heights they can achieve.
Mm-hmm. For a long time, I had no idea it was Fergie. I was like, you're telling me Fergie did that?
It's a friendship that's kept up to this day. Kim was in the MILF Money video.
That's right.
Is it the name of that song, MILF Money?
I hope so.
MILF Money. I'm scared to search this, but let's see. Lauren's gonna be checking my search history. Yeah, MILF Money.
Yeah, or MILF $.
Yeah. I get okay. MILF $. I'm sorry, I said it wrong.
No, it's MILF Money. Don't take me seriously.
That's a pretty solid top 5. Once again, it will enrage people, but that's what we do.
Yeah, so sorry that our idiosyncrasies define our lists, and
yeah,
I'm sure your list is perfect. And
of course,
you can tweet it at us, and we will nod at it and say that's a very fine list.
Chris will nod at it and say that, and I will just stare at it disapprovingly.
Just be understanding for once, Travis.
No. I'm in a lifelong fight with our audience.
It's a
loving
complicated
battle.
relationship, yeah.
It's just because I'm a button pusher.
I sometimes get relieved when I see some wild things that people tweet, and then I click and they're not following us and I'm not following them.
Because you don't want to fight with your friends.
Yeah, somebody was just like, not gonna lie, this album looks like it's gonna be ass. And I was like, oh no. And then I clicked. No relationship.
Do you consider all of our followers to be your friends?
Kind of.
You have 17,000 friends.
One collective friend where I'm just like, hey, everybody. No, but I do know, like, I recognize most of the ones that interact with us regularly and like try
Yeah.
to recognize and keep up. But as we've reached like 12,000 followers or following 12,000 people, it's harder to kind of like keep up.
You should step it up a little bit though.
I'll do better.
Okay, as long as you promise. Everyone heard it.
I promise to try.
Okay, and get better taste in Kanye features.
I promise to try.
Be like me and pick everybody from all of the lights.
I wish I could be like you.
Okay, come back again tomorrow for day 8.
Or don't, but do.
Yeah. Oh, although that one will be live from LA, so that'll be fun.
Yeah, you're going to get to hear us be like, we're in LA.
And it won't be live, I guess. I mean, these are all live in a way.
Aren't, like, what is life and what is life? What is time?
All right, everyone have a great day and stay wavy.
And loopy. In your own time, in your own way, in whatever dimension.